Yeah, hello there, and welcome back. And let us continue with our lesson over here. And let us go and learn how we can create the Flutter application using the Supabase as a backend service. So, if you don't know what is a Supabase, Supabase is actually a backend as a service where you can utilize like the database, like the edge functions, like you can create a lot of the service that you actually do with your backend. Here we will be creating our database first of all, and it also provides the authentication service where you can just easily integrate the authentication to your application as well. So what you can do is you can go to the supabase.com over here and just go to the sign up. And what you have to do is you can just log in using the GitHub, or you can also use your own email to sign up. And I have already signed up over here. And once you have signed up and log into the Supabase dashboard over here, what we will do is we'll go and create a new project over here. And what you can give is you can just give a name over here. So what is the application name that you're going to build? So let's say Flutter app demo over here. And next is we need to create the database password since it is using a PostgreSQL. So we need to set up a password over here. So for that, let's go and generate the random password over here. And then the region, which is of your the data center location. So you can select your closest location if you want to get a faster like the response time. And for that, so let's go and select I'll be selecting as the southeast Mumbai over here, which is quite near to my location. As well as if you can find the rest of the location, you can just select from here. You can also select the Singapore, which is also quite near to me. And for now, let's go and select the free plan over here. You have the free and the paid. For this demo, the free is completely fine for us. So let's go and create the new project over here. And once the project is created, we are good to go. So what you have to do is you have to remember this. You can just remember for now. You need to get this URL as well as the NON key over here, which is of the API key that you will later require to set up in the Flutter project. So you have the JavaScript as well as the Dart over here. So later we'll see how we can set this up over here. And once we have that, let's go to the database over here. And currently we don't have any tables in the database over here. So since it is a SQL or the PostgreSQL over here, you can create the tables, right? And you can also use the SQL script to generate tables. And if you are already familiar with the SQL queries, it will be much easier over here. So you have the tables, you have the Tiggers, you have the functions, extensions, role, replication, webhooks, wrapper, which is of the alpha, backups, and the migration. So we'll be looking at some of these once we are going to create our Flutter application. So we'll be also looking into the tables, Tiggers, functions, and I guess we'll be also looking into the webhook as well. But let's see, but we will be sure using the tables over here, Tiggers, and the function for now. So let's go to this particular authentication. So first we need to create the authentication so we can log in from our Flutter application. And if you go to the providers over here, and you can see by default the email and the password authentication is already enabled for us. So the minimum password length you can set up over here, and then you can enable the provider confirm email, right? You can send the email confirmation like once the user sign up, a user have to go and click the link to enable that account. And you can also use the phone authentication, and you have a lot of the authentication actually it supports. So there is a Google, Apple, and you can also use the OAuth for the Discord, Facebook, Bitbucket. So whatever you can find online, I guess they have the sign up over here. So it's pretty cool over here that they have a lot of the option for your authentication. So by default the email is already enabled for us, and if it is already enabled, we don't have to do anything over here. And currently we don't have any of the tables over here as well. And later we will go and create the table. First, let's go back to our project on the let's go and open the VS Code over here. And what we have to do is we need to go to the, I have already created the empty project or the Flutter project over here. You can see it's the empty Flutter project over here. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the pubspec.yaml file over here, and let's go back to our pub.dev over here, and we'll find the Supabase Flutter package over here. And let's copy the dependency. So I'll just copy it from here, and let's go back to our project over here, and let us paste it onto the dependency over here. So we have the Supabase dependency. So let's go down over here, and it should be not here, it should be over here. So the Supabase Flutter and current dependency of this one over here. So once we have that, you can just go and run the Flutter pub get over here to get the dependency. And you can also go and read the documentation over here. So they have the pretty good documentation to have the authentication, and then the database real time, and then the listen to the change over using the channel. So let's you can go and read this particular documentation, but later we'll see some of this how we can utilize in our application once we are going to build the chat application. So let's go back over here, and let's go to I guess we have done over here, and let's go to the main over here. And first thing is that we need to initialize the Supabase over here. So for that, what I'll do is I need to make this one as the async function over here. And what we'll do is we'll go and set the widg widget flutter binding over here dot the ensure initialize. So we need to run this one because we are going to call some native functionality using the Supabase over here. And next is I need to go and await over here and use the Supabase over here, Supabase dot the initialize over here. And what we have to pass is the anon key over here as well as the URL over here. So let's go and set that up over here. First thing is let's go and set the I guess the URL over here, and URL will be of the string, and also the another one is of the anon key over here. And if you take a look, you have the others properties that you can actually set up over here, and you can also set up the schema. And currently we are only able to, by default it's always using the public schema over here, and later we'll see what is the schema in our the dashboard on the Supabase. So let's go back to the Supabase over here, and what we need to do is we need to get the API key and then the URL. So if you remember at the beginning we have already got that, how we can get that one. So let's go down over here, and we will see the project URL is of this one. So just copy this one, and let's go back to our project over here. Let us paste the URL over here, and then we need to get the anon key over here. So let's go back over here and let's copy this particular anon key from here. And this key is safe to be used in the browser also. If you have exposed this particular API key, that is not a problem. So if you want to protect it, it's also a good practice, but they have mentioned that it is safe to be used in the browser as well as to hard code in your application. So let's open up our device again, and let's paste that particular key over here. And with this, we are good to go. So now our Supabase instance has been initialized. What we can do is we can use this one in our application. So for that, I guess we can create one const variable. So later we can, we don't have to every time initialize or get the instance of this one. So for that, what I will do is I'll just go and create the new folder over here. Let's create the new folder, and let's call this one as the utils utils. and inside this let's go and create the new file of the constants constants dot file over here, and let's go and create the final variable of the Supabase over here, Supabase, which is equals to the Supabase that we have, Supabase over here dot the instance, and then we'll get the client, not the class, sorry, client client over here. So this will give us the instance of the Supabase, or the client that we are going to use to connect to or call the queries or call to the functions in our Supabase instance in our back office or the backend. So let's say this is of the Supabase client, client client over here. So now we have this, we can access it inside of our application, and then we can utilize it later. So that's cool. So once we are done with that, we are good to go. And next thing is that we need to create the let's go and create the new folder over here, and let's have the screens, and with this or let's have the page for now, and with these pages let's go and create some of the pages. So first we will have the auth over here, and with this auth let's go and create the two file that will be of the logi and login page dot file, and also we'll have one more that is of the sign up, or the, let's say this is of the regis register underscore the page over here dot the dot file over here. I'm calling this one as the page instead of the screen. Previously, if you can remember, I was always using a screen over here, but we will be running this project on the web as well, so I guess it's better to rename it as a page over here. So once we have the login and the login and the register page, what we will do is we'll create the let's create the stateful. So let's say s is stateful over here, and that will be of the register page. And let's import this one from let's import this one Flutter material over here, and let's go over here and let's also create the stateful, and that will be of the login page as well. And let us import the material package. So I guess I can just remove this underscore for now, and let's do that, and let's go to the register page, and let's also remove it from here as well. So that should be fine, and we are good to go. So let's go to the this register page. First we need to create the register page over here, and I'll use the scaffold over here, and let's have the app bar, which is of the app bar over here, and let's have the title, and that will be of the let's set the const of the text over here, not the tab, so text text over here, and let's say registr register over here. And I guess the next option will be of the center title to be of the true, and then we will have the body over here, and in the body let's have the single child scroll view over here, and then we'll have the child, and in this child I guess let's add the let's start with the padding over here, and padding let's have the const of the edge insect of the all, and that will be of, let's say, of the 16.0 over here, and we need to have the child for this one as well, right? So let's go and have the new child over here, and child with the of the form over here. And once we have this particular form, so let's go down over here and let's have the child, and let's add the column over here. So we will have the column, and inside this column we'll have the children over here. So that's cool. And let's go on to the top, and we require some of the things that properties like the currently we require the form key over here. So let's create the global key that will be of the form state over here, and that will be of the underscore the form form key over here, and that will be of the global key itself. So we are good with that. And once we have that, let's go to the form and let's have the key over here. That will be of the form key that we have. And later we'll use this particular form key to validate our form over here. And once we have this particular, let's go down over here and let's create some of the text field over here that we will require over here. And I have already created our text form field, so let me just copy from here and let me paste it over here so we don't waste the much of the time. So I'll just copy the code over here. And if you take a look, so we have this particular text form field, and the keyword type is of the email address, and the input action will be of the next, and the max lines I have set it to the 1, autofocus to be of the false, controller, so we haven't created that controller, we need to create that one. And I have enabled a simple input decoration over here. And then let's go down, and you have the simple validator rule over here, and we'll just say that of the email is of empty, or you can just return any of the error text from here. So this is the text form field. And next is we require another one will be of the, we will send the email, and we will also send another one will be of the username. So let me just copy that one as well over here. So let me arrange this one properly, and let me just go and paste it below over here. So I have the another text form field over here, which is type is of the text, and input action is also of the next, max line, autofocus, and then the controller. Currently we don't have that, we need to create it. And then we have the simple input decoration over here, and then the validator rule for our the username over here. So we have the few validation rule over here, and then one is off to check whether it's empty or the null, and another one is to validate the length and the alphanumeric over here. And once we are done with that, we will require to set up the password over here. So let's copy the another field over here as the password over here, and let's go and paste it below over here. So this will be of the another field, which is if type is of the keyword type is of the visible password, input action is of the next, and of security text is true because this is a password. And then we have the controller, which we haven't set it up, we need to set that one up. And then the input decoration, and then the validation rule over here. So we set the length should be of the 6 or the more over here. And then after that we'll have the one button over here. So let's copy the, I'll copy the another code from here and paste it below over here, and that will be of the button. So we will have one button to sign that up. So currently we don't have this field as well as this function, so we need to create that. And then we have the another text button, that is to, we will have to navigate, when we press on that we'll navigate to the login button, so or the login page. So let's import that, the login page.dart file, and currently we don't have that route, later we will go and create that. And over here we have the one text, which is if you have this is the particular text, I have an account already. So once we click on that, we'll navigate back to the login page. So let's go on to the top over here, and what we need to do is we need to have some of the text field or the controller that we need to create. So for that, let me just copy the code from here, and I'll just paste it over here. So now we have the text editing controller, right? So we have the email controller, password controller, and the username. So let's go and create the init state over here. And in the init state, we need to initialize all of this. So what I need to do is I'll just initialize all of these text editing controller over here. And once we have initialized, don't forget to dispose that one. So let's go, and before we call the dispose over here, we need to go and dispose all of the controller that we have over here. And I guess that should be fine. And once we have that, next thing is that we will require the function, right? So let's go and down, and that will be of the void and we require the sign sign up over here, and this will be of the asynchronous function over here. And if you go down now, your form should be pretty good. And then once we require another, which is of the loading, and then we require to set up the login page route. So if you don't want to do this one over here as well, so what you can do is you can just pass in the material route object directly over here. So I can just remove this one as well and pass in the material page route over here, and then the builder currently we don't have. So we'll just go and return from here the login login page over here, and that will be of the const over here. So that should be good. And you have the two options once you set up this one over here, or you can create a static variable on the login page itself to return this particular route over here. And next is we will require this loading state. So let's go on to the top over here, and let's create the one more variable over here. So that will be of let's say bool over here, and that will be of the underscore the loading over here, and by default it's of the false. And why that is false is if you go down to this particular button over here, and with this button we are checking whether to enable or disable that particular button based on the loading state. Here we are not utilizing any of the state management solution, so that's why we have to do everything in this particular page. But if you are using the state management solution, then you have to maintain that state on the separate page. So once we have this loading state, if it is of the loading, then we'll say that disable this particular button, or I'll just call this particular sign up over here. So let's go on to the top over here. I guess we have fixed almost most of the stuff over here, and I guess that should be fine. And now we don't have any error on the register page. But what we need to do is let's go on to the top over here, and we need to set this sign up function over here. And currently what we will do is we'll just go and simply try to create the account without any validation. We also need to do a validation later on, like if the user already exists, if the username is already exists, if the email address is already exist over here. And then we will have to do the validation ourselves. And the Supabase currently I don't find any of the example where the Supabase itself does that one, but we have to do that one currently by ourselves, and I hope in the future that they may do that. But currently we have to do the validation ourselves. But for now we don't have any record and in our database, so we can't do the validation for now. So later, once we create some account, and we'll come back over here and redo the validation over here. So for now, I'll just go and try to create the account directly. So I'll wait over here, and we can call the Supabase, the client that we have previously created with the supabase.auth over here, and I'll use the sign up over here. And sign up requires the email or the phone, and then the password. So the password is the required field, so we will be using email, not the phone over here. So let's go and set that one up over here, which is of the email as well. And let's go and set that as the password over here, and let's then close it over here. So email and the password we will getting this one from here, and that will be of the email controller dot the text, and then we'll have the password controller that we have over here, right? Password controller dot the text, we got it. And next is we'll also send the username. So currently there is no option to send a username over here, but we can send it through the data over here, which is of the map of the string and the dynamic. So let's go and set the data over here, and with this data I can send the map over here. The map will be of the user and name over here. Sorry, this should be on the code over here, username, and this will be of the username that we have over here. I guess this is the one. Just copy and get the text over here. So username dot the text, and I will convert it to the lowercase. So we just want to have it to the lowercase for the username, in case if user have entered the uppercase or in the capital or uppercase on the front, or middle they have some uppercase. So we just want to have this standardized to make it to the lowercase, so it will be easier for us to do the validation whether that user already exists in the database record and so on. So once we have set this up, what we will do over here is, I guess we will set the loading state first of all. So once we call this particular function, we'll go and set the state over here to the each loading, so that we have over here, I guess, each loading to be of equals to the true over here. And this will go and update the state. And once we have created the account over here, and we'll just go and set that one to be of the false over here. And next we'll create the one more function over here to let's say in void we will go and navigate to login page over here. And with this, what we need to do is once the registration was successful, we have to go and call the, let's make this one as the private. So let's make this one as a private call over here. And once we have successfully registered, we need to navigate back to the login page. So for that, we can just copy the code from here as well. So once we press that one, we'll just navigate, this one, we need to call the navigate to login page as well from here. So what I will do is I'll just go and paste the code over here, and that will be off to navigate to the login page. So that should be fine, and our register page is ready. And next thing is that what we need to do is we need to go and set the login page over here. So let's go to the login page, and currently this register page is not completely done. We haven't done the validation over here. Later we'll come back over here again. So let's go to the login page over here, and let's also return from here the scaffold as well. And scaffold, and I guess we can just copy some of this stuff from here, so we don't have to redo much of this stuff over here. So I'll just go and copy this particular content from here, and let's go and paste it over here. So what we need to do is we just need to close it over here, and that will be of the column, and then we just have to close the another one for the form, and then we again have to close the another one for this, and again for another one, and I guess we require one more to be closed over here. So that's cool. And the form key we haven't generated, so this one will be of the login over here, and or the sign in or the login. So let's go and have the form key over here as well. So for that we can just go and copy some of the things from here. So let's copy the login and this particular login key, form key, as well as the controller or the text editing controller over here, and we are going to paste it over here. So that should be good enough. And then let's have the init state over here, and also we'll have the on dispose over here. So let's call that particular function as well over here, and let's just remove this one from here, and also let's remove this one, and let's go and get that one from here. So what I need to do is I need to copy these two from here and paste it over here. So we need to dispose this, we need to initialize it. After initialization, we need to dispose it on our dispose function callback. So let's go and dispose it over here, and we are good to go over here. So I guess I just need to arrange a bit over here, and then we are good to go. And then we have the form key. I guess that should be already set it up over here, and in the column we'll have the children over here. And let's go and see what we have done. So currently we have set up these properties over here, and then we have initialized the controller and dispose it, and we have the scaffold, and I guess that should be fine. So now we need to add the field over here. So for that, what we'll do is I'll be copying some of the content. So let's go and copy the text form field over here, and you can just copy it the same thing from your register page. So you can just go and copy it from here. We just require the email and then the password. So let's go and paste it over here, and I have copied the email, right? So this is of the email form field, and then next is I have the password field over here. So we have two, one is of the email and one is of the password. So I guess I just need to arrange the intent for this one a bit over here. So let's try to see if I need to arrange this one. And okay, so currently it's there, so I just need to move it, I guess, one more over here, and that should be fine, I guess, over here. And once we have that, we also need to have the button as well, right? So just I'll copy the button over here, and also we need to have some text over there. So let me just copy the content of the over here, and let's paste it below over here. So now what we will have over here is we have the after the password field, we'll have the one button over here, that is of the field button, and once it is of the loading, we'll disable it, and if it is not, then we'll go and call the sign in function. Currently we don't have that, and we are going to create that. And then we have one row where we have the we set one text, which is if you don't have account, and then we have the text button. You can just go and click on that one and navigate to the register page. So just import the register page over here, and we are good to go. So let me try to arrange the intent over here. So just copy this one from here and paste it over here. So now it looks fine, and we just need to create the one function that is of this one. And let's go over here, and let's go and create that one over here. So that will be of the sign in function, and this should return the void for us. And the next thing is that once we have this particular loading state enabled, what we can do is we can actually go and sort the loading state. So for that, I'll just go and copy some code and paste it over here. So you can see that if we have the loading state, then we are going to show the circular progress indicator over here. And for that, I guess let's have the size box over here. So let's add some spacing over here, vertical spacing over here. So I'll do the same thing over here on the registration page. So if there is a loading state, I'm just going to show that particular loading, the circular progress indicator over here. So that should be fine. Now we will also have the loading state over here, and in the login page, what we need to do is we just need to go and log in over here. So for that, let's go on to the top over here. First thing is we will do the validation over here. So for the form validation, final, let's go and have the final, and let's say each VLID valid. We need to validate our underscore the form key that we have, that the current state, or the current state, and then we'll do the validate over here, and I need to null check over here. And once we have that, I need to go and check the condition over here. So that will be of the each VLID valid is not equals to the null, and also each valid. So if this condition is true, then we are going to set the state first of all, that is of the each underscore the each loading should be of the true, and this will give us the loading state. And now we can show the progress indicator. And the next thing is that what we will do over here is we are going to log in over here, right? Or we are going to sign in over here. So for that, I'll just go and call the await over here, and this should be of the asynchronous function over here, await, and we have the Supabase instance or the client that we have already created over here. So auth, and then we'll go and use the sign in with the password over here, and here we'll use the password as well as the email. So if you take a look, we can pass in the email and in the password over here. And for that, let's go and set the email over here. Email will be underscore the email controller dot the text over here, and then this one will be underscore the password controller dot the text over here. So once we have that, we are good to go. So now if you go over here in the register, and then we have this sign up function call over here, and here we are calling the sign in with the password over here. And once it is done, what we have to do over here is we are going to go and update the state over here. That will be of the false over here. So we need to disable the loading state over here, and then we again need to navigate to the another page. So let's say avoid NA. Let's make this one as the private NAVIG. Navigate to. We need to go to the another screen. So currently, I guess let's go to navigate to the DASHBOAR dashboard, and currently we don't have dashboard. So for that, we need to create a one more screen over here. So let's go and create the one more page over here. So DASHBOAR dashboard underscore page dot the dot file over here. So DART dot file, and let's go and have the f stateful widget over here, and let's import the Flutter material package over here, and let's just make this one over here. So currently we just will return the scaffold from here, and I guess that should be fine. So let's just give it as an empty for now, and let's go back over here, and what we need to do is we need to navigate from here. So how we can navigate is the navigate navigator of context. We need to push this one. I guess we will push and remove until over here, because what we need to do is once we have successfully log in, we can remove the current the route stack and move on to the dashboard, because we don't want to come back to this particular login page, right? So what we have to do is we need to remove that current stack and move on to the another page. And in the new route, what we need to do is we need to material page route over here, and then the route builder. Okay, so currently we don't require this, and then we'll go and call the dashboard, not the page. So DASS dashboard page over here, and let's make this one as the const over here. So we'll just go and call this one from here, right? So once we have successfully logged in, we can call this one to navigate, and currently we are not catching any of the error. So what we can also do over here is, instead of just calling the API or the Supabase over here, it can also throw us the error. So to prevent that, or to prevent the application crashing, we can use the error handling over here, and I'll just catch this particular error 2 times over here. The first one will be of the on. So let's use the on auth exception, which is from the Supabase. So we need to import that, and then we will have this another one. So what I will do over here is I will just cut this section, and I will move inside this particular try block over here, and that should be the one that we have to do over here. And on the auth exception, what we can do is we need to show some. Okay, so first of all, let's go and set the state. So if that is of the false, or we have some exception, we also need to set the loading state to be of the false over here as well. And next is we need to show some message to the user. So for that, I guess we'll create some extension to show the error message. Maybe we'll create the extension to let's create the extension for the snack bar. So for that, let's go to the here and create the new file, and that will be of the let's say snack snack bar, snack snack bar, let's say extn extension dot the dot file over here. and let's go and create the extension over here, and that will be of the, and here we'll show the not the snack bar, the scaffold, right? So SCA scaffold messenger over here, dot of this particular context is of this, and then the we'll just go and call this, so the snack bar over here, and we need to call this particular let's have the snack bar over here, and we just need to pass in the content over here. So the content will be of the let's arrange this one properly, and this one will be of the content will be of the text over here, and text we need to pass in the some message over here. So here we'll just go and pass in the message over here, and that will be of the we'll pass in the required field of the string that will be of the message over here, so we can show that. And in the snack bar you can also do the some formatting over here. So let's add in one more option over here, that will be of the background content and the background color, right? Okay, so this will be of here, so I close it wrongly, and this will be of the background color over here. So we can just pass in some color to depending on what color of the background you want over here. So for that let's also pass in the param over here, so color color, that will be of the background color over here, and by default we'll just pass in the let's say a default color will be of the colors colors dot the I guess white. So let's pass in the white over here, and we'll use the background color over here, and that should be fine over here. And in case if you want to pass in the different color, and that should be fine. So let's go back over here, and what we can do is here we can call that context dot the show the snack bar over here, and then we can pass in the message and the background color, which is the message will be of the e dot the message as well, and then the background color, since this is of the error, so I'll just go and pass in the colors dot the red over here, since this is of the error. And let me try to, okay, so I guess that should be fine, and let me just copy this one as well, and let's paste it over here as well. So this one will be I guess we don't have a e, so we'll just say e dot to string directly over here, and that should be fine. So now we have all of those, and what I can do is I can do the same thing for our let's go back to our register page, and I can have the same thing. So just copy this content from here, and let's go over here, and instead of just directly calling this one over here, we will just go and implement this particular function, which is to try catch over here. And for that I'll just cut this section from here, and what I have to do is let's go over here, and I need to replace it from here. So try to replace this one over here, and let's try to do the proper intent over here, and that should be fine. And let's import the Supabase, Flutter Supabase over here, and we also need to import the snack bar over here, and I guess that should be the one that we have to do over here. And we have the error handling as well now, and we are good to go, I guess. So finally we can run our application, and so let's go to the here over here, and we'll create the launch.json file, so it will be easy for us to run our application. So let's go and run the application over here, and currently we don't have any of the dependency. We just have the Supabase Flutter, so it can run on the any of the packages, any of the platforms. So we don't have the platform specific dependency. So let's try to run in the Mac OS. We can also run in the web, or you can run in the iOS and the Android as well. So what we have to do over here next is because we are using the Mac runtime over here, so the next is let's go to the Mac over here, Mac OS over here, and let's go to the runner over here. So in the runner, what we have to do is we need to connect to the internet. So that's why let's go over here, and let's add in the internet security over here. So let me close all of this over here, and what I have to do is let me just copy this one from here, and let's copy below this one, and this one will be a com.apple.thesecurity.the-network, and this will be of the client client over here to access the internet over here. So I'll just copy this one over here as well as on the release over here. So that should be good enough. So once we have done this one, what we have to do is we have to close this one, and what we have to do is let's go to the main over here, and we currently have this particular body. We have to replace this one with the let's say login page for now, and later we will try to replace that. So for now, let's go and try to go and run it one more time over here. And now we can see that we are on the login. Okay, so we have the spelling error over there. So let's go back to the login page over here, and let's try to fix that one. And that will be of the login over here. And we are good with that. And I guess we also need to have this one over here as well. Let's try to hot reload over here. And once we are done, we are good to go. So let's try to go to the register over here and do the navigation back. So we are good with that. And what we'll do is you'll try to register a new account. So let's go and create the new account over here. And I have filled in the form already. So let's try to register over here. So now you can see a loading state, and this is disabled over here. And now we have got that navigation successful, which means the account was created. So let's go back and take a look over here in our the authentication. And in the authentication, now we should see one the user is over here, so which is of this particular, and it is waiting for the verification. So what we need to do is we need to log into our, let's go to the Gmail over here. We'll go and confirm our email address. So let's go and confirm it over here. And if you go back over here now, and if you try to reload it over here, you will see that the it has been validated, or the email has been confirmed over here. So now you can see that currently we can't see much of the information over here. So currently we just have one user over here. And for that, if you go to the tables over here, and you can select a schema over here. So currently we are using the public schema over here, and don't worry about the schema. Later we'll go and check more about it. And let's select the auth schema over here. And if you go to the users over here, and you should be able to see that particular user over here. We have the user ID authenticated, and then we have this email, and then if you go that there is a password, right? And then we have the let's go over here, and we should see some the username that we passed in. So raw user metadata that we had previously passed in. This is the JSON-B format over here. You can see the username, and this is of the demo which we sent it from our app over here. So this is the user information stored on over here. And currently what is the problem with this is that from the Flutter we can only use the public schema, which basically is once we set up our the Supabase, it's going to directly connect to the whenever we are accessing the database table, it always goes to the public schema. And if you are using the supabase.auth, then it will come to the auth schema over here. So if you take a look over there, and now if you take a look over here on the sign up function over here, or the login function that we have, we are calling the auth over here. So this will access that particular schema over there on the let's go over here, and this is going to call the schema on the auth. And rest of the if you are using the if you are just calling the API on the other database tables, it's going to call on the schema of the public. And I hope that they will fix that one. If you go and take a look on the GitHub repo, they have the open the session for that, open discussion on that one over there. And that's the drawback over here. You can just create a new schema and call it from the Flutter, but I guess that will be solved when you are watching this video. And the schemas are the ways to organize your database tables. Like you can organize for the authentication, you have the auth, right? And you can create the another schema like the chat, and that will only hold the chat related tables. And you may have the sales schema where it will only hold the sales related table, and you have the product schemas where you have only the product related the tables over there. So in this way, using the schema, you can organize your the database table in more structural way, just like a box or the container where you put in all of your tables. So later we'll see how we can create the more tables over here on the public schema, and we'll also try to see how we can create a new schema over here and then create the new table on that particular schema. But currently Flutter doesn't support to switch the to a different schema. That is the current issue with the Supabase Flutter SDK that we are currently using. So once we have that, let's go back to our device and let's try to log in. So let me try to log in over here, and then the password, and let's try to log in over here, and now we are good to go. So now you can see we are already on the dashboard over here. That is what we have set up in our application. So that's cool, and we will continue with this on the next lecture. It's quite long already, and in this session we'll learn how we can do the authentication with the email and password. And on the coming up lecture, we will be building up a chat application which is of a one-to-one chat as well as the group chat. So let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day. Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. And we already have the users table over here on the auth schema over here. And if you go to the schema or the public schema over here, we don't have any table over here. So what we need to do is since I mentioned previously that we need to access the user information in our Flutter app, but currently we don't have option to read this particular the auth schema from here, the user table. So what we have to do is we need to plug some information from this particular user table back to our public schema over here. So for that, let's create the new table. You can either create the users table or you can create a different table. So for me, let me create the profile, and let's say this is of the profiles over here. An option, let's say, so you can give some description. Let's say store store is store the user profile over here, and we'll enable the row label security, which is the recommended option over here. So you can restrict the access to your table, enabling the RLS and writing the Postgres policies. So this basically means that you can write some policies to the row level, or who can read, like whether you want to allow only to the authenticated user to read from this table, who can insert this to particular the table, right? You can set the policy over here, and this is the security policy that you can implement in your table itself. And currently we don't want to enable the real time, and later we'll see how we can enable that and what is the use case and how we can get the information, or how we can read the information back in our Flutter application. So for now, let's just uncheck this one, and we'll create the ID over here, and let's change the type. So there are a couple of the types that we can use. I'll be using the let me go to the universal unique identifier over here, And another thing is, let's make this one as a nullable for now, and it should be of the primary key over here. And the primary key is the we will require this one id should be of the primary key. Later it will be easier for us to link it to the like create a table relation and all of this stuff. And also next we will require the let's add the one more column over here, and let me drag this one over here, and this one will be of the, let's say, user name over here. So we'll try to store the username, and let's make this one as the text over here. And I guess we will make this one as the nullable over here for now, or you can just change to empty string for now, but I guess it should be fine. And if you can click on this setting icon, you can set it as a nullable. And also you can make this one if you want to make it as a unique, right? So if you don't want to make it a nullable, you can just uncheck this one, so that means that it's not the nullable. So if you take a look, if we click on this one, you can see that this is, if you check this one, it will be nullable, but if you uncheck this one, it is you can't insert the null value over here. And if you are not familiar with the SQL, it may be quite difficult to understand. So make sure you go and check out or read some documentation about the SQL. Also, you can go to the Postgres official documentation and read about the data types that it provides. And once we have this username over here, we'll create the one more column, another one. Let's set this one each of the full name over here, and you can also insert the full name over here. So this one will be of the text as well over here. And let's make this one as the nullable. And if I will add the one more column, that will be of, let's say, avatar avatar, and this will be of the let's make this one as the text itself again. So this will be the avatar that we are going to store. So that is the link of the profile image that we are going to provide over here. And we will also require the another one more column that will be of the email over here, and just drag this one over here, and this will be of the type is of again the text over here. And let's add the one more column that will be of the each underscore online. So later we are going to check it over here, so whether the user is online or not, we can use that one. So this will be of the type each of the bool. So let's go down over here and we'll select the boolean true or the false over here, and we can set the some default value over here. So the default value, let's go and make this one as the just uncheck. I guess we don't want to set it as the nullable, and by default, I guess let me move this one over here, and here we'll just set as the FAL as a false, the default value over here. And I guess the username full name can be of the nullable, and then the avatar also can be of the nullable. Email, I guess we don't want to make this one as the nullable. And the username, what we want to do over here is we want to make it as a unique, and the username should be of the unique, and we don't want to make it as a null. So you can insert the nullable username over here. So I guess that should be fine, and we just have one primary key over here. It will be useful later when we want to create the table relation. Also, it will be helpful for indexing and all of other purposes. And let's go and create this one over here. And let me try to create that one over here. Once we are, so it's adding the 7 column over here. And here you can see that we have created the tables. So for that, let's go to the database over here. And if you go to the table, now we have the on the schema public, we have the one new table, which is of the profile. So you can just click on the column over here, and you'll see the list of the columns that we have, and the data type and the format over here as well. So let's go back to the table over here, and you can also edit this one, and you can edit the information over here. So what we can do over here is we need to create the actual table relation over here, so we can link one table with the another table. So let's open up the column over here, and what we need to do is we'll go to this particular ID over here, which is of the type which of the UUID. We'll try to link it with the auth and the users table, and we'll select the ID over here. And what we want to do is once we delete the user, we also want to delete this particular the profile. So for that, we'll set the cascade over here. So delete the record from the deleting the record from the auth.users table will also delete the record from this reference table, which basically means if you delete the user, it's also going to delete the profile data over here. So that's what we want over here. So let's create the this particular relation over here. So the following is the foreign key relation added over here. So just go and save this one over here, and we are good to go. So now we have the relation, and if you go back to the tables over here, and you will see the profile, and you will see that there is a link over here, and this is the primary key, and there is a foreign key relation over here. This ID has the relation with the auth.users.id over here, and once you delete the users, it's going to delete this particular ID. And next thing is once we create the user, we want to automatically add that particular user back to our this particular profile table, which means that we don't have the option to add the user from the mobile app or our Flutter project currently. So what we'll do is we'll create the function over here. So whenever there is a new record added to the our auth user tables, we are going to add that particular to our profile itself, or the profile table. So for that, let's go and create the function over here. And currently we don't have any function. So what we can do is we can write some script over here, and you can see there are already some of the script that is available for you. So you can see how to create a table, add a comments, and all of those stuff over here. So if we go down over here, we have some script like the user management, and then I guess we will be using the user management over here. And if you click on this one, there is a script already for you. So what we are going to do is, I guess we don't want to use this one. It's quite complicated over here. If you are not familiar with the SQL query, it will be quite difficult to understand. So what we want to do is, we already have this profile table over here, and we don't have this particular the policy over here, the row level policy. Later we'll go and create. I guess we also don't require that one over here, and I guess what we require is this particular function over here. So this is the function. So let's copy this particular function from here. So I guess let me copy the function begin from here, create the user, and let's go to the new query over here, and new blank query over here, and let me paste that one over here. So let's try to arrange this one over here, and what we are doing over here is create a new function. So we are going to create the new function, or if you are familiar with the SQL procedure, so this is the procedure that we are going to create. In the MySQL, you can MySQL or the MS SQL or any other SQL, you will see that it is a stored procedure actually, but here we call it as a function over here. And create a function over here, and that will be of the public dot the handle new user. So this is the table schema that we have. So this is on the public, and we want to have the handle new user, and this, or you can say rename it to a different one, that's up to you, but let's keep it as a handle new user over here. So return a Tigger, so it's actually going to create the Tigger over here as the dollar over here. So what it is actually, it is returning a type is of the Tigger. So if you go back over here and if you take a look over here, so actually it's also creating a Tigger over here. You can see that it is creating a Tigger actually. So you can either create the Tigger from this particular SQL query, or later you can go and create it from the UI itself or the graphically. So what we'll do is we'll also copy this one from here, and let's go back to our the script that we just have over here, and this is going to create a Tigger over here. So let's go create let's say a trigg, a Tigger when new user is created over here. So what we want to do over here is, if you take a look at a Tigger, so Tigger is basically means that you want to trigger some function call over here when there is some event. So let's say you created a new user, and once the user is created, what we want to do is we want to call this particular function over here. So if you take a look over here, so create a Tigger, right? So this is the Tigger that we are going to create on the auth user created over here. So this is the Tigger name that we have over here, and you have the after. So after the user is created, so after insert on the auth.the-user. So basically what we are saying over here is, after we insert a new user on the auth.the-user table, we want to trigger it, and for each row execute the procedure. So we have this particular procedure, as I mentioned previously. This is the function that we have. So execute means that go and execute this particular function, which is public, then the handle new user. So this is the function that we have over here. So func function to insert to insert to the profile table table over here. And so now we have that. So we are going to insert it to our this particular table. So insert into the public.the profiles over here. We want to insert the some of the we want to insert ID, and we also want to insert the username over here, and then we also want to insert the email, right? And also we want to insert the avatar. So I guess for the avatar we'll use a default one, and later we'll see how we can set the default value. So now I'm going to get the new.the ID. So new is the value that is actually the auth table, auth.the users table. So from here I can get the new.the ID, and for the user I need to get it from this particular metadata. So I can just copy this metadata over here. If you remember, we are sending as the that one as the in the hash map. All right, so we are sending in the map format. So from here we are going to use the user name over here. So let me try to arrange this one over here. So we are going to insert the username and then the email. So next is after the username we have the email. So for the email I can get it from the new.the email itself. So this is going to give us the auth.the-users.the email property, and we can use that one. And over here we have the third is the full name, and then the avatar URL. So this full name and the avatar URL is not we are sending. So what we will do is, let's go over here, and so that should be fine, I guess. So for this particular metadata we are not sending the URL. Later we'll try to see how we can upload it from the Flutter application, but for now we want to have the default avatar over here. So for that we need to create the bucket over here, or the storage where we can store the image or the profile image. So let's save this particular query over here. So for this one we'll say handle handle new user, and this will be of the func handle new user function, and also this is of the trigger, right? So trigger trigger over here, and just rename this particular query. And also I'm going to make it as the favorite, so it's going to ping it over here. So handle new user and new user function and then the trigger. So let's go back to our storage over here, and in the storage what we are going to do is we need to create the new bucket over here, and in the new bucket we are going to store our image over here. And for that, let's go and create the new bucket. And for this I'll just go and make this one as, let's say, a default default bucket over here. And you can see the lowercase letter, number, dot, and the hyphens, the format of this particular bucket name. And I will check this one to the public one. So basically public means it can be accessed without any of the it can be accessed with the anyone. So user can read the object in the public bucket without any authorization. So basically means that even if the user is not authenticated, or if you have a login, he can still read that particular information from this particular bucket. So I'll just go and you can also add the other information, but let's just keep it as a simple, and I'll just set it to be readable for the public, so anyone can read it without the authentication over here. So just click on that one, and once the bucket is created, what we need to do is we'll go and upload the new file over here. So what we'll do is we'll add the new profile image over here, or default image. So let me add the new image over here, and now I have uploaded the new profile image over here, and now you can see that we can get the URL of this particular profile image. So you can either download, delete, or you can get the URL. So if you have the if you create the private bucket without the public one, that means the URL will be expire on the certain time. You can set the time limit over there, but since this is a public, we can get the URL that doesn't expire. If you want to create the URL that's going to expire after a certain time, you have to make use of the private bucket. So we'll just copy this one from here, and what we'll do is we'll go back to our script over here that we have created, and here we are going to insert that script over here. So for that, let's go and insert it directly over here. So I guess we don't need this one for now, and I'll just directly insert the string value over here. This is the URL for our profile, or the default profile. So that should be the one that we currently have over here. And now I can go and run this particular script. So it's going to create us the so failed. So we have some syntax error over here. So let's try to see. I guess this is the comma syntax that we have over here. So let me try to run this one again, and so it is successful without any error. So once we go back to our let's go back to the tables, the database over here, and if you go to the function, we should see the one new function is created for us, which is of handle new user, and the return type is of the trigger over here. So if you go and edit this one, you can see that what we are doing over here. So you can update this particular command over here, or the store procedure. And I guess that should be fine. So if you go back to the Tiggers now, you will see that we have created one new Tigger. So that will be of the, if you go to the I guess this is on auth user created, this is going to call the handle new user over here. So the event type is of after the insert. So this is on the on auth. So if you go to let me go and edit this one over here, and you can see that you have the option. So this is of the origin, so you can just select some of this, but let's keep it as a default behavior of the origin over here. So just close this one. And you can also manually create the trigger from here. You have to give the trigger name. So previously we created with the SQL command, but here you can also or create through the GUI over here. So you can select some of the like the auth user and the event type, like the when it is inserted or when it is updated or when it is deleted. So you want to trigger some function over here. So once you select that one, so trigger type before the event or after the event, which means if you select insert, before insert, or if you select the after, which means after insert over here. And the or is orientation over here. So you can just select the row or the file once for each process row or the statement over here. And if you go down, you can choose the function that you have defined. So this is the function that we have defined. So when if you want to trigger that one, you have to return the type as the trigger. So if you go back over, if you go back, so just confirm this one and cancel it. If you go to the function, the return type should be of the trigger if you want to run it as a trigger. So the return type that we previously mentioned, each of the triggers, I guess we don't have that, but if you go to the script, we should get that one over here. So if you go over here, the return type over here, you will see that the return type is of the trigger, right? So if you want to return a text, or you want to return it as the UID, so you have to make this as a return type, but current return type is of the trigger. That's why we are able to process it through this particular trigger. So once you create a new trigger, you can manually add that function call over here. So these are the default one that is generated for you, and we are good with that. So let's go back to our bucket over here. This is a default bucket over here. And what you can do is, if you go to this particular default, and currently if you go to the policies over here, we don't have any of the policies. So this is not a good practice over here. So you can just go and create the new policy over here, and you can set like who can access it or who can create it or over here. So for now, just keep it as the simple without any of the policy. And next thing is that we also created the table over here. And if you go over here with this particular profile table, you will see that no active the row level security policies is enabled over here. So if you don't have the row level security policy enabled, by default you can read or insert it over here. So what we have to do is we need to set some policy over here, because before we can insert, update or delete or select a record from this particular table. So let's go and add the new user over here, and we'll try to, okay, so what we have to do is we can copy this email address, and I'll just try to add the new user over here, and I'll just select the +1 over here. So it's going to go to my same email address, and let's add the password. So let's say once I add the password over here, okay, so sorry for that, I need to create the new user over here, and that will be of the let's add the +1, and this will be of the ABC 1 2 3 4 5 6 over here. And let's go and create the so let's auto confirm for now. This is just a test case over here. And once we have that, so database error creating a new user, I guess we have some error over here, and I'm not sure why this error is coming over here, but let's go and not auto confirm it. Okay, we still have error over here. So I guess if you go back to let me close this one from here, you can go to the log over here and go to the process over here. So you can get the log information from here. So we are interested on the severity over here and just the error. So save this one, so it will give us the error log that we have over here. So currently we have the okay, so now we have the avatar URL over here, and I guess this is the one. So let's go and see, this is the one, that error that we have. So let's go and see what is the error. So column avatar URL refers to the profile does not exist. So I guess if you go to the column table over here, and in the table this should not have the avatar. So currently we have to make this one as the avatar underscore the URL over here. So that is the table name was mismatched with our the trigger that we have generated, or the function that we have generated. Because if you go to the function, we have the this particular function. If you go to edit function, we are inserting it to this particular the avatar URL, but we just had the avatar. So that was the issue. And now if we go back to our tables over here, and let's create, okay, so we need to create the new user. For that, let's go and grab the new user over here, and let me add the +1 over here, and let's create the user over here. And we still have the username of the relation profile void as the null constraint. So currently we are not sending the username, so that's why it's not able to create from here. So we have to run that one from our application itself, because if you go to the register page, we are sending the username, and username can't be null, right? So that's why. So what we have to do is we'll run this one on the so let's try to run this one and create the new user over here. And let us try to register a new user from here. And I guess that should be the one. So it was able to generate, and let's try to go and reload it from here. And now we are getting a new user. And if you go back to our table over here, and in the profiles, we should get that one over here. So now you can see it has automatically inserted that particular row for us, which is the cool feature that we get from our function as well, and function together with the Tiggers. So we created a function over here, or the store procedure, and then we trigger it when the new user was created on the auth table. It's going to create that one. It's going to insert a new record to our profile table. So that's cool, right? So now we have the profile information over here. So you get the username, full name is nullable, so we are not passing that information. You can pass that information as well, and then the email, and then is online to the false over here. So now we have the profile table ready over here. And the next thing is that what we need to do is we need to also check whether if we delete this particular user from here, it's going to delete that record in our the profile table. So let's go and delete the user from here. So if I'm going to delete the user from here, and that should also delete the user in our profile table over here. So now we can see that the profile table is empty, so the table relation is working perfectly fine. So next thing is that what we need to do in our application is we have to validate before sending the information. We need to check the form validation. We need to check whether the user is already exists in our database. We need to check whether the email address is already exist in our particular database. So I guess we will be doing that on the next lecture. So till then, have a great day. Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. So the next step, let us go and do the form validation first of all. And I'll just go to the register underscore page dot the dart, and I'll go to the sign up function over here. And final, I'll just go and say it's valid over here, which is of equals to the underscore the form key dot the current state that we have. And then I need to check the nullable type, and I need to do the validate over here. So the next thing is I'm going to check for the if condition over here, and condition will be of the each valid that we have is not equals to the null, and also if it is of the each valid over here, so which means that our form is perfectly valid. So what we'll do is we'll just cut this section from here, and we'll try to move this one inside is of our if condition over here. So that should be fine over here, and let me try to arrange this intent over here. Let me try to arrange the intent over here. So I guess this should be fine, and try catch it over here. So let me try to arrange this one properly. Okay, and once we have the form validation, next is we are going to, before we are going to call this sign up, we need to check whether the username exists and the email exists on the database already. So for that, what we are going to do is I'll just go and create the final each let's say email, each email exist, I think. So each email exists over here, and that will be of the await, and we are going to use the Supabase, so Supabase over here dot the from. So I'm going to call the table over here. Table will be profiles, profiles. So this is the table, the profile that we previously created, and now I can just go and call the like I need to select the, I want to select only the column over here that will be of the email. So I'm going to just select the one column over here that will be of the email, and you can also select the multiple, but the requirement is just to select the email to check whether the email exists already in the table or not. And we need to also check the so I need to remove this one from here, and EQ over here, which is of the equals to, the column is of the email, and the value will be of the underscore the email controller dot the text. And we are going to check whether the email is of the equals to this particular the email that you have or the user have inserted. So I'll just go and select the limit to just a one row over here, and then I'll just a single single or maybe single. So this will give us a null if the record was not found. So we are going to use it's the return type will be of the null if it doesn't find the email address that is equals to the controller dot the text. And the same thing that we will do over here with the another one over here. And another condition that we are going to check is user exists. So the user exists, or the user name. So we want to have a unique username, right? So we are selecting from the same table, which is of the profile, and we want to select the user name over here, and then the username will be of equals to the underscore the username controller dot the text. And once we have this, what we want to do is we want to check the condition over here. So we'll check for the if condition over here. If the each email exists, so if the email exists over here is not equals to the null, so this may return a null value, so that's why we want to check it. So if it is not equals to null, which means there is some record, and also it should be of the each email exists, and if it is not null, then it's going to give us the map over here. So I've checked that the email, so it should be of the email over here, and dot the to string, I guess we'll make each not empty. So if it is not empty, that means there is a record of the email. So what we'll do over here is we are going to throw the error over here. So let's go and throw the AUTS auth exception. Sorry, it should be throw the AUTS auth exception over here, and then the message is, let's say email AL already exist over here. So just go and close it over here, and I'll make this one as the const over here. So I have to do the same thing for this particular the user exists. So if the user exists, I'm going to throw an exception or the auth exception over here, and this will be of the user name over here, and this should be of the, we'll just say the username already exists over here. So that should be fine over here. And what we can do is we'll try to reload the application over here, and let's go back over here and let's try to register with the new one over here. And so what I need to do is I'll go back to the over here, and I'll just copy the email address, and let's come back to our device over here, and I need to create the new user. So first of all, so before we can validate, and I can just go and say that it's of the +1, and I'll just go and say the username will be of, let's say it should be of, let's say Richard, or let's say we just give a user user1, so user1 over here, and the password. So let's create the user and the password, and let's try to register this one over here. And once it is registered, what we will do is we'll try to go and register with the same email first of all. So I'll just go +1 over here, and this will be of the same user, right? It was the user1, I guess, and then the password. And once it is set, what we'll do is let's go back over here and let's put the breakpoint over here. So what I will do is I'll put a breakpoint on the condition over here, and let's go and try to register this one over here. So each email exists over here, we are still getting a null over here. And why we are getting null is if you go and take a text value, this is of this particular email address, right? So this is already present in our DB over here. So if you try to reload this one, you will see that it is already present over here, as well as if you go to this particular profile table, you will see that that is already added over here. But the problem over here is that we don't have the active the role level security policy. So since we don't have that, it's not going to able to read it from here. So we'll click on that one, and we are going to add a new policy over here, and you can select it from the starter template over here, or you can go and create the new one. So if you go back and customize it yourself, and you can just go and for the select, what you want to do is only the authenticate user. So you have the role over here, this is the role that they provide. So I'm going to select the authenticated. So if you set the anon over here, anon means that anonymous user, so without the authentication they can access that, but we don't want that. So we only want the user with the authenticated user will be able to access that one. And here we need to return the true or the false. And the policy name, you can just give the any name. So I'll just say read the what we have is the user read the profile data each only AVAILAB available for authenticated, right, authenticated users. So you read the profiles data is only available for the authenticated use. So I'll just review this one. So I guess we forget to provide the using expression over here, and that will be of the one. And just review this one, and you are going to see that create this particular policy right on this particular table, which is a public data profile, and the permission for select is to authenticate using one. So just save this policy over here, and I guess we have some error. So that's funny. So I guess I forgot to, I guess this is not correct. So what we'll do is we'll go back over from here. So let's go and create a new policy and quick starter guide over here. And okay, so it should return us this particular policy over here. So let us use the, okay, so I need to return it true or false. I just said it as a 0 or 1, which is of the it should be on the true or false over here. Sorry for that one. and I guess enable read access for authenticated authenticated users over here. So this will be a select, and from here I'll select the authenticated, and this should be of the true, and I guess that should be fine. So let's just review this one, and here we are using the true. So make sure you if you are using the customization, just pass it as a true. So just save this particular policy, and now we have that particular policy over here, which is to read it. So now you can also add the same policy over here, which is to go and access the insert. So this one should be only available for the authenticated user. So enable insert for authenticated users only. So you have to do the same thing for the rest of your insert, and then you have to have a new policy that is of the I need to use for the update over here, and this is only available for the authenticated users over here. So review this one, and it should be only available. So permission for update to authenticated user is true. So just save this policy over here. Enable read access to all user. I guess this is not correct. So this is update this one. So I will delete this one. I guess I selected the wrong template over here, and I need to go over here, and this is to update. So it's going to create this one. So here I'm going to select the authenticated over here with the email, and then the auth.jwt is email, and check it's going to check that one. So here you can see to authenticated users, so permission for update to authenticated user using the email, and then also it's going to use the with check. So just save this policy, and it provides a lot of the default configuration. So it's pretty cool over here, so you don't have to write it by yourself. So delete, so it's also for only for the authenticated user. So I'm just going to set that one, and let me review it, and then just save that particular policy over here. And I guess that failed to create the policy column. User ID doesn't exist. So I guess the user ID doesn't exist over here. So if you go over here, and I'm going to use this one, and it should be of the delete using auth id. Auth.uid is equals to the user ID. So we don't have this particular column over here. I guess we will be using this as the okay. So I can't edit this one over here. So actually it should be of the ID over here. Cannot edit over here. So okay, so use this template. So it should be over here, not there. Sorry for that. It should be of the UI ID over here. Review it. Okay, so back to edit, and this one should be for only the authenticated user. So currently we don't have the user ID in the, by default it's expecting that your profile table should have the user ID, but we have the ID over there. So you can just use that one, and then set that particular policy, and we are good to go. So now once we have this particular policy enabled, we'll go back to our application and just go and run this one, and I guess we are going to use this one over here, and now you can see that we are still getting null. So let me try to reload the application over here, and let's try to log in over here. So let's try to register, and I'll try to register with the same account over here, and then the user one over here, and let's set the password over here, and just register it. And now we are over here. So email exists over here. So let me see what is the value. So email is already exists. So now you can see we are able to, and now what we can do is we can uncheck this one, and if I try to go back over here, and if I try to register, we should get the snack bar over here. Email already exists. That's cool. So let's try to change this one to a different email over here, and let's again try to okay, uncheck this one over here and uncheck this one. So let's try to see if we are able to get the username as well. So let's try to register over here, and now you can see that username already exists as well. So let's try to make this one as the 2 over here, and let's try to register it over here, and we should be able to register by now. So if we go back to our table over here, and now you can go to the user over here, or the authentication. So now we have the 2 user that is pending for the verification, but you can't log in now. So if you try to go and let's try to log in to our user over here, and if I try to log in over here, we can't log in because email is not confirmed. That's correct. So what we need to do is we need to confirm this email. So let me go back to my email and confirm this particular 2 email address. And once we have successfully confirmed our email address, we should be able to log into our application. And let's try to log in over here, and now we are navigated back to the dashboard over here. So that's cool over here. And now we have successfully implemented our the validation over here. We are able to validate our email address, and as well as we are able to validate the user. So we can check now whether the user exists, or whether the email exists in our database itself. And also we have done some form validation over here. So I guess that should be the one that we have to do over here. Yeah, hello there, and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. And the next step, what we would like to do over here is let's go back to our dashboard page over here, and let us try to add some of the components over here. So first of all, I'll add the app bar over here, and that will be of the app bar. And let's try to add the title over here, and that will be of the const of the text over here. And let us call this one as the DASS-BOAR, the dashboard over here. And also I'll make this one as the center tile to be of the true over here. And once we have that, let's also go and add the actions over here. So in the actions, we'll add the one button, so the user can click on that one and log out from the application. So let's go and create the icon button over here. Let's go and create the icon button over here. And then we have the unpressed over here, so that will be of the function call. And then we'll have the icon over here. So icon will be of the const of the icon, and then the icons dot the log out. So we will find the log out over here, and that should be good to go over here. And we can just use the Supabase over here, Supabase that we have already created, dot the auth. We'll use the auth dot the sign out from here. So if you take a look, this is going to sign out the current user if there is a logged in user. So this is also a future. So what we'll do is we'll make this one as the async over here, and we'll call this one as the await over here. And what we need to do is once we log out or the sign out, we also need to navigate back to our login page as well. So let's go down over here, and let's create the one function that will be of the void, and then we'll just say the navi navigate to the login page, right? So we'll okay, so I guess the spelling is not correct. So login login page, and here we'll go and call the navi navigator dot the push and remove until. So we are going to push and remove until. We need to remove the current route and navigate to the login route over here, right? So for that material page route over here, and then the builder over here. So the builder will be of the login page over here, and this should be of the const over here, and then we are good to go. So now we have this navigate to the login page function, and let me close this one over here, and now I can call that from here, right? So let's go and call that one, and we are good to go. So next thing is that on the let's go, after this we'll have the body, right? So in the body, I guess we'll just have the center, center, center over here, and with the center has the child. And let's add the currently I guess we don't have anything, so let's just add the column for now. And then currently we don't have anything to add over here. Next is we'll go over here and we'll add the okay, so let's add the floating accent button over here. So the floating accent button, so let's say the extended one, and let's go and add in the function call over here. And then we have the label over here. So label will be of the const of the text over here, and that will be of the chat over here, and that should be fine over here. And also we can have the icon over here, right? This is extended, so icon will be const of the icon, and icon will be the icons dot the chat over here, and that should be fine. So we have that already. And on pressed we are going to navigate to the another page. So let's go down over here and let's create the void over here, and navigate navigate to the chat page over here. And with this chat page, let's go and have the new folder over here, and let's call this one as the chat. And let's create the new file over here that will be of the chat underscore the page dot the dart file. Let's create the stateful widget over here that will be of the chat page. And let us import the material package over here. And I guess we can just remove this one for now, and this one as well. So from here we are just going to return the scaffold for now, and then the scaffold, and then the app bar over here, and then the app bar will be of the let's say the title, that will be of the const of the text, and the text 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 over here, that will be of the chat over here. And let's make this one as the center title to be of the true over here. So we have that, and I guess that should be fine over here. And now let's go back over here, and we need to call that one. So let's go and call that function. So not this one, so navigate navigator, so tor navigator dot, we can go and push the route. So let's go and push the context, and the route will be of the I'll just copy this one from here, and then we'll just pass in the chat page over here, right? So that should be fine. And let's just try to arrange this one. Okay, so I guess we'll try to arrange it from here, and this will be of the second line, and let's move this one from here to here, and that should be fine. So now we can use this navigate to the chat page whenever we click on this particular button, or the floating accent button over here. And I guess in the center over here we will add in the let's say const of the text for now, and let's add in the number 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 of users users. And let's go and create the one variable on the top that will be of the string, and that will be of the number of users users, which will be of equals to the let's say a 0 over here for now. And then we'll just go and put it over here as the that will be of the number of users that we have, right? And I guess that should not be of the const. Okay, so now we are good with that. So let's try to run this application. Let's try to rebuild our application, and let's go back and try to log in over here. And once we log in, you can see that we are on the dashboard over here, And what we need to do is we need to remove the debug check banner. So let's go to the main over here, and let us go and remove that one over here from the material banner. Debug check banner, that should be of the false over here. And let's try to hot reload over here, and then we are good to go. So once we click on this particular chat, we are on the chat page. Currently we don't have anything. That's working fine. And then the next thing is, once we log out over here, let's try to log out from here, and we are back to the login page. That's cool. And let's try to log in again, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 over here, and let's try to log in. And once we log in, and if I try to now restart the application, it will take me to the login page. So the next what we need to do is we need to check whether the user is already logged in, and if the user is logged in, then we need to navigate to the dashboard. Otherwise we need to navigate to the login page. So I guess we will do that on the next lecture. Till then, have a great day. Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. So the next step is, let us go to our page over here, and let's create the new page over here, and let's call this one as the splash plus page over here dot file. And let's create the stateful over here. So if the stateful we get over here, and let's import the Flutter material package over here. And then the next is, let's say make this one as the scaffold over here. That will be of the let's add the app bar over here. I guess we don't want to have the app bar for now, and we'll just make this one as the body over here. So let's just make use of the body, and it will be of the center. And in the center we have the child, and in the child I'll load the circular progress indicator over here. And let's make this one as the const over here. So why I make it as the circular progress indicator is, once we load this particular screen, we want to show the loading state over here, so we can check for the condition whether the user is logged in already or not. So here we will have the let's have the init over here. So init state over here, and let's go and remove this one from here, and let's go and create a one function over here. So void, so check user session session over here. So okay, so what I need to do is I need to make this one as a function, and here we are going to call the let's go and say the final session session, which is of equals to the Supabase that we have, right? And then we'll use the auth over here, and then the current session. So we'll try to get the current session over here, and we'll check for the condition over here. So that will be of the if, and then if and else over here. Condition will be the session that we, not the Supabase, that will be of ses sorry, it should be of the session ses session that we just created. Each of equals to the null. So if the session is of the null, so if you take a look, this can be of the null, right? So we are going to check if the session is null. That means we are not logged in here, so we need to go to the login page. So for that, in navigator that we have, navigator navigator dot, we'll go and call the push and remove until. So we want to remove the current route and navigate to the login page over here, since we don't want to come back to this particular loading page again. So this will be of the route will be of the material page route that we have, and then we have a builder over here, right? And then we are going to call the login page over here, and that should be fine. So let's try to make this one as the const over here, and then if it is not, then what we want to do, okay, so if the session is null, then we are going to login page, and if the session is not null, then what we want to do is the user is already logged in. So what we have to do is we need to go to the dashboard page over here. So that should be fine, and what we need to do is let's make this one as the private function over here, and let's go and call this one after we initialize it. So let's go and call it check the user session over here, and I guess that should be the one over here. And let's go back to the main over here, and we need to replace this one with the const of the sp slash page over here. And I think this is not the const over here. Okay, so let's remove that, and let's go and remove this one as well from here, and we are good to go now. And let's try to open up our application. So let's open this particular application over here, and what we'll do is we'll try to let's try to reload the application. And okay, so we got some error over here. During the overlay widget cannot be marked as needing to, so that may be because of this splash page that we have over here, right? So that is the one. So what we need to do is, I guess we need to put some delay over here. So let's go back to the this splash page over here again, and I guess we have to make this one function call as the future, so we can add the future.delay over here. Or what we can also do is we can also make use of the wid widget binding. So widget binding over here, so wid widget binding over here, dot the instance over here, dot the add the post frame callback over here. And let's try to use this one over here, and let's try to see if we are able to fix with that over here. And let's try to move this one over here, and let's try to see if this will fix this particular error. So let's try to hot reload over here, and let's try to see. Okay, so now that is working already, and this should be fine. Or if not, then you need to make this one as a asynchronous function and put some manual delay over here. But I guess this is the better way of handling that one. So let's try to hot reload again, and now we are on the dashboard page over here. And if I try to log out over here, and if I try to hot reload, I should be on the login page over here. And now if I try to log in again with this particular user over here, and let's try to log in with that, and let me put in the password, and let's try to log in now, and we are on the dashboard. So let's try to hot reload again, and we are again back to the dashboard. So that's cool, and I hope this is the one that we are doing for the authentication. And the authentication flow is currently working fine, and the next step would be to work with our chat. So let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day. Yeah, hello there, and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. And the next step, let us try to add the material theme over here. And for that, we will be using the flex color scheme over here. And you can go to the pub.dev over here and copy this particular dependency over here. And let's go back to our project over here, and let's add the dependency over here. And you can run the flutter pubget. So flutter flutter pubget over here, and let's get the dependency. And once it is done, what you can do is let's go back to our main file over here, and we need to add the our theme over here. So for that, let's go and add it over here. So let's go and add the let's add the theme first of all, and the theme will be of the flex flex theme data. Let's import the flex theme data over here, and we will use the light first of all. And in the light, what we can do is we can use the scheme over here, and the color scheme we can select from the pre-built scheme over here. So flex flex scheme that we have, and you can see there are a lot of the pre-built. I guess there are around 54 or something. So you can just select any of the pre-built theme from here. So let's select the deep purple or deep orange M3, and then let's remove the const from here because we can't use the const over there. And also I'll go and select the use the material tree over here to be of the true, because by default it's not using the material tree. And also use the material tree errors color, that will be of the true over here. And if you go back over here, and if you read the documentation over here, and here you can see that you have the 52 pre-built color schemes over here. Maybe they have added more. You can go and check out on the official documentation over here. So you can just go to the home page over here, and you can go and take a look on the home page over here. And you can just go to the examples, and they also have the playgrounds over here, and you can just go and read the documentation over here. So if you see all the themes over here, you'll find all of the themes over here. So currently there is a 52 over here. So you can just go and select any of the pre-built theme that you require. So let's go back over here, and I'll just copy the same thing from here, and let's go and add that one below over here, and that will be of the dark theme. So dark theme will be of the, we'll use the pre-built dark theme over here, and we'll use the same color over here. And once we have that, we will use the theme mode over here, theme theme mode over here. And either you can use the theme mode dot the dark light or the system over here. So let's select the system, and I guess we don't have to make use of let's remove this one from here, and let's try to remove this one. So we don't need a scaffold because there is already a scaffold in the splash page over there. So that should be fine. We have added the flex color scheme over here, and we set up the theme over here. And what we can do now is let's try to reload the application, and let's take a look. So now we have a different looking UI over here, which is using the material tree over here. So if you go over here and you get a different, okay, so we don't have any of the UI, but you can see that the app bar has a different color over here, and that should be pretty good over here. And if you can log out, and you will see that we have a different looking UI, and it's beautiful by default. So you can just go and try to arrange some of the properties if you like, but let's just keep it as a simple over here. So I guess that's all for this lesson, and we will meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.